And now he walks in the streets of the city which his uncle had ruled 20 years earlier. He walks like a stranger in the city. And now his two young sons who are with him aren't there, Muhammad and Ibrahim. One was 11, the other was 9. Until eventually these two young boys are massacred. They are caught. When the man wants to behead them, one of them says, do you mind if I pray my Fajr prayers before you behead me? 11 years old. And the other one who's 9, he cries to the one who's 11. He said, please, I'm so scared. And the one who's 11 says, do not worry. In a moment, we'll return to our father, Muslim bin Aqeel. And now Muslim bin Aqeel is where? He's walking in the streets of Kufa as a stranger. And you know when he's walking in the streets of Kufa as a stranger, all he wants is just some water. That's it. He doesn't know who to turn to. Those of you who've been to the grave of Muslim ibn Aqeel in Kufa, remind yourself of that grave. And those who haven't, visit his grave, honor this man. Imam al-Hussein, what did he say about him? قَدْ بَعَثْتُ إِلَيْكُمْ أَخِي. Please listen to these lines. I have sent to you, قَدْ بَعَثْتُ إِلَيْكُمْ أَخِي. I have sent to you my brother. Muslim ibn Aqeel is your cousin, Abu Abdullah. Muslim ibn Aqeel is your cousin. He said, I have sent to you my brother and my cousin. Do you know when Abu Abdullah calls someone his brother, that means he's not my cousin. I see him like my brother. That's how close I am to him. أخي وابن عمي وثقتي من أهل بيتي. I have sent to you my brother, my cousin, and the one I trust the most from Ahlul Bayt. Ya Abu Abdullah, you have Abbas, you have Akbar, you have Qasim. The thiqah, the most trustworthy, is him. None will complete a mission like him. Even though he could have stabbed Ibn Ziyad in the back, he is not treacherous. Even when he dies, I'm proud to say that's my brother you killed. He's walking in the streets. He sits by a house. When he sits by that house, a lady comes out. She says, excuse me, what are you doing here? He said to her, just a glass of water, if you don't mind. Just a cup of water, I'm thirsty. She returns back. Her daughter had come out. She was looking at him sitting on the ground like this. And then the daughter came back into the house. The mom saw the daughter crying. The mom looked towards Muslim. She said to him, man, what did you say to my daughter to make her cry? He said, I promise you, I never said anything. The daughter looked at her mom. She said, Mom, he never said anything except one line, and it's made me cry. The mom said, what's the line? He said, I am a stranger and I have no one here for me. The mother began to cry. The mother looked at him. She said, who are you? He said, I am Muslim. She said, which Muslim? He said, son of Aqeel. Which Aqeel? Aqeel, son of Abu Talib. She said to him, so you are the nephew of my Mawla? He said to her, yes, I'm the nephew of Ali. She said, that is my master, Ali ibn Abi Talib. This Muslim is a Sahabi of Rasulullah, my dear brothers and sisters. He was 8 when Rasulullah died. We don't just cry for him because he's the brother of Imam Hussein. He's a companion of the Prophet. She said to him, stay in my house for a short while, but I am scared that they will inform Ibn Ziyad, for they are looking for you. Muslim said, do not worry. She narrates that whole night he was in his sujood. He was reciting the Quran. I could hear him upstairs. I was just worried that they would inform. Eventually a member of her family went and told Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad, what did he do? Ibn Ziyad, he sent soldiers to go and capture Muslim ibn Aqeel. But this isn't just a normal person. This is not a person who's from the greengrocers of Kufa. He was a man who was a brave warrior. Ibn Ziyad sent a number of soldiers. You know what Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath said? Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath wrote back to Ibn Ziyad. He said, send me more. Ibn Ziyad said, what do you mean send you more? I've already sent you 300. He said to him, you have not sent me to a greengrocer of Kufa. You've sent me to the nephew of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Send me more soldiers. This time the soldiers were many more. This time they surrounded him. And you know where his heart is, where his mind is? Aba Abdullah. That's where his heart is. That's where all our hearts are on a night like this, next to Aba Abdullah in Karbala. His heart was near Aba Abdullah. He knew that this is the most difficult time. Even when Ibn Ziyad said to him, why do you cry? He said, I don't cry for myself, I cry for Hussein and his family. When they surrounded him, one of them from behind threw a rock on the back of his head. He fell on the ground. Another one came with a bar and hit him. Another one came with his sword and struck him. You know, normally if you were to carry someone who you've captured, you'd allow them to walk. They dragged him across the streets of Kufa. They dragged his body, then they brought him to the palace of Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad said to him, why have you come here to cause disunity? He said, I haven't. The people said that you are the man who's causing disunity. You and your father have acted like Caesars and Kisras. One of the men said to him, when you address Ibn Ziyad, say your Amir. He said, he's not my Amir. Amir Husaynun. My Amir is Hussein. I do not have any other Amir. He said, my Amir is Hussein. At this moment, something very interesting happens at this moment. The narrations, what do they say to us? They say that Ibn Ziyad looked towards him, and when he looked towards him, Ibn Ziyad said to him, do you have any final wishes before we kill you? The narrations mention that he said, of my final wishes, number one. Listen to his final wishes. He said, my final wish, my first of my final wishes in my will is there is an amount of debt that I owe somebody. Brothers and sisters, this is an important line. There's an amount of debt I owe someone, a loan, a debt. Please sell my saddle and my sword and pay the debt back. Imam al-Hussein on the night of the 10th of Muharram told his companions, if any of you have a debt, then go and pay your debt. You are not one of my soldiers. Because a follower of Imam al-Hussein does not have a debt outstanding which they haven't paid. That was number one. Number two, he said to Ibn Ziyad, he said, oh, Ibn Ziyad, my second request from you is what? My second request is to give me an Islamic burial. I don't want my body to be dragged in the streets of Kufa. Give me an Islamic burial, shroud my body. Then number three, please tell Hussein not to come. Ya Aba Abdullah. Tell Aba Abdullah, his whole mind is with Aba Abdullah. He doesn't care about himself anymore. His life is Hussein. Ibn Ziyad said to Umar bin Sa'ad, he said, Umar bin Sa'ad, as for his first wish, pay it off. Umar bin Sa'ad said, no. Ibn Ziyad said, have respect for yourself. If the man has a debt, pay off his debt. He said to him, as for your second wish, we will not give you an Islamic burial. We will give you the worst of burials. As for the third wish, Hussein, if he wants to come here, we'll cause him trouble. If he doesn't want to, we'll leave the man alone. He said to his soldiers, get him now, bring him. They said to him, where? He said, bring Muslim to the top of the castle. And they took Muslim and Aqeel to the top of the castle. Brothers and sisters, may Allah give you patience. Ya Imam Sahib al-Zaman, may Allah give you patience with what I'm about to narrate. The narrations mention that they brought Muslim and Aqeel to the top of the castle. And just before they were about to strike him, he called out, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. At this moment, the man came towards him and he struck Muslim ibn Aqeel and he beheaded him from the top of the castle. The news reached Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. But do you know why it became difficult for Imam al-Hussein? Because you now have to inform a young girl that her father has died. Like we said to you, it's difficult for Hamida. She loved her father. She's expecting on her way to Karbala, on her way to Kufa, she's gonna see her father. Imam al-Hussein, he turned around towards Sayyida Zainab and he said to her, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Sayyida Zainab replied to him, Oh Aba Abdullah, what is it? He said, Muslim ibn Aqeel has died. She said to him, Aba Abdullah, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He then looked towards her and he said to her, bring me Hamida, my niece, the daughter of Muslim ibn Aqeel. Do you know how difficult it is to tell a young girl, to tell her that her father has died? Hamida came towards Imam al-Hussein. The first thing Imam al-Hussein did when he saw her, he patted her on her head. She looked towards Imam al-Hussein and she said to him, Aba Abdullah, have I become an orphan today? He looked towards her, he said to her, oh Hamida, why do you ask? She said, because normally when you pat the head of a child, it means that they've become an orphan at that moment. Ya Aba Abdullah. He looked towards her. What did he say? He said to her, oh Hamida, my daughters are like your sisters and my sons are like your brothers. Oh Hamida, I've just heard the news about your father's death in Kufa. As soon as he announced this, she began to cry. But there were some girls who came towards her. One of them was Ruqayya. Ruqayya was only young. When she came towards her, she saw Hamida crying. Ruqayya is very young, but she hugged Hamida. I say to Ruqayya, in Sham, when you saw your father's head, who was there to come and hug you? MashaAllah. Then who came? Sukaina. Sukaina came, said to Hamida, do not worry. Now that you've become an orphan, I will be the one who looks after you. I say, Sukaina, who was there to look after you when Imam al-Hussein's horse returned without the Imam? Then who came to console her? Sayyidah Zainab came. I say, Zainab, who was there to console you when they attacked your hijab? One by one they came to console the daughter of Muslim ibn Aqeel. I'll leave you with this final narration. When these daughters of Imam al-Hussein, when all of them were prisoners in Kufa, Taw'a, the lady who had seen Muslim ibn Aqeel, she saw all these daughters walking in the streets of Kufa. She came towards them. She asked, where is Hamida, the daughter of Muslim ibn Aqeel? And they said to her, why? She said, I have a message from her father before he died. When she came towards Hamida, she said to her, Hamida, I have a message from your father before he died. But before she could say anything, the poets say that Hamida looked at her and she said, oh Taw'a, before my father fell on the ground, did anyone carry his body before it touched the earth of Kufa? Did anyone bury his body? Did anyone bury his body? Did anyone protect my father's body?